good landmark for learning to palpate because it's pretty prominent on most people. That tells you that you're in the middle of the head. It's going to give you some direction. If you go just laterally, you'll feel it kind of a ridge up at the top, and that's your superior nuchal line. And then just below that, you should feel an inferior nuchal line. So the superior nuchal line is where your upper trap attaches into the fascia on your occiput, and the inferior is kind of where all those paraspinal muscles all blend together, and they will insert into that. So people have headaches, you can kind of palpate the upper trap insertion up there versus the spinalis and all those muscles that come together. They actually form a common tendon that kind of attaches into the bottom of the occiput there. So first rib. I'll show you on the skeleton. Most of you won't be able to see it if I palpate it, but you typically find first rib. You compress down through. You'll side bend the head a little bit with the patient, and you can come down just at the bottom of the base of the neck. You feel a real firm, hard thing. That's the first rib. So you should be able to palpate on each other. So you kind of use what we'll do with mobilization. Use the MCT index. There, palpate. You can actually go over here, palpate it on around. So I'll start diving underneath the clavicle. So you'll lose it about halfway around with most people. So that's a good one. You need to know that because your scaling, anterior scaling is going to attach to your first rib. Second rib, you can palpate it back off by the first rib, go down. Talk about a rule of threes when we get to thoracic, but you can kind of get that T2, follow it around. You'll lose it underneath the scaps for most people. You'll find it back just underneath the clavicle. So the first rib you feel underneath your clavicle is the second rib. The first rib is going to be hidden underneath your clavicle. So we'll talk a lot more of those in thoracic, but helps scaling palpation. So hopefully everybody can find the spinous process, cervical region, where some of them are bifid, and they're going into more of a single unit, get lower. C2, first spinous process you palpate. There is not a spinous process for C1. Hopefully you remember that. So transverse processes. So if you find go in front of your mastoid and right behind your mandible, you push in there, there's a real tender, hard, that's the transverse process C1. So if you tilt your head forward, tilt your head back, feel it empty, feel back up. So if you want to palpate transverse process of C1, it's going to be right there in front of your mastoid. Very tender. Kind of tell how much movement there. Even bring them around and palpate in there. And find C1. And from C2, you'll palpate those. Those are see even on the spine how much further out C1 goes. So come in. Find the spinous process about an inch out. That's where you're going to find the set joints. And then just beyond that, you wrap around over here to the lateral part of the neck. You'll find the transverse processes of C2. Very tender. So once they're done, might be on transverse process, but we're going to palpate work primarily right there on the articular pillars. There, so that's you'll really do most of your work. Compression. All right, you know your mastoid process, TMJ, right there in front of your ear. Look at the set joints already. So soft tissue wise, you got your suboccipital muscles. So your obliquus, inferior, obliquus, superior here, rectus capitis, major, minor, from C2 to C1, C1 to the occiput up here. And in the middle of that is your parieto-occipital nerve. For that, so if you palpate deep enough in there, you can actually compress that nerve, get that sparkly little feeling in the back of your head. So somebody real tender palpation, you may have to check and make sure you're not, especially when you're doing what we call suboccipital release, where we'll come in and hook underneath the occiput and distract. You know, if you're too wide, you can be right on that nerve, push up on that nerve. So, any questions on those? Obliquus, inferior, superior. You're not going to palpate these muscles. You got a whole layer of muscles sitting about like that over it. Just kind of got to know where they're at. You want to palpate correctly. So, all right. The rector spinae semispinalis capitis is your rector spinae. Hopefully you find the sternocleidomastoid. You may not find that. Good. Upper trap and scalenes, or upper levator. So you can palpate about here. You're going to palpate wide out here. You're going to get almost all upper trap. Fairly thin muscle if you remember from the cadavers. Then if you get more medial, you'll start picking up trap, upper trap, and levator there. So come in there, you can almost separate those out on some people. Thin enough you can kind of get in between. So know the difference between those two, because we're going to stretch them differently. We'll go different directions with the stretch. Suprahyoid, infrahyoid muscles, I don't really worry about too much. They're painful. You know there's something more than cervical going on typically. And if I find your carotid artery. So when we go in, start palpating along this colli here in a second. Have you do that on each other. If you feel pounding underneath your fingers, you know you're in the wrong place. Don't cut off the carotids. Another thing you'll do when you go to do your translation is most of you will take your thumb and go cut off the carotids. So feel that pounding underneath your thumb. Lighten up. Just park it there. Don't compress. All right, scalenes. We're talking about scalenes. So upper anterior scalenes are going to go from basically your transverse processes 2, 3, 4 down to the first rib here. So we're going to attach right there. And middle, typically go down to second rib here. Real good illustration here. So anterior, middle, or the posterior in some people. Not everybody has posterior scalenes. So like 60-70% have a posterior scalene. It's also going to go to second, sometimes third rib. We'll show you how to palpate that here in a second. Temporalis, those temporalis muscle, real bad for headaches. And I'll show you how deep neck flexors. So they're sitting right here, deep neck flexors. So we can actually come in and slide in here around the carotid and esophagus and palpate that. So we'll show you how to do that here in a second. So, all right.